Hey everybody, RBL Commissioner Pat Barker here to tell you guys about a very special year-end show we have coming up December 15th. We're calling this the Battle for LA. It's going to be at a new venue we've never done before called Jam in the Van. Great venue, and we have a great concept show that's going to be awesome. You guys know about the roast battle. Well, we have other leagues popping up all over the place right out here in Los Angeles, and we challenged a couple of them to throw down as a year-end celebration of roasting, of the culture, of everything that we do here. We decided to bring Comic Wars and Know Your S roast battles, the latter hosted by Digits. Bring them all together. We're going to go do a big show at Jam in the Van. You can get tickets December 15th. You go to jaminthevan.com. We will also be streaming the show on our YouTube channel. Check out our social media for more details at Roast Battle. You can check out Jam in the Van on Instagram. It's an amazing venue. We're going to have an amazing show, and you should be there to check it out if you're in the LA area. Hey everybody, welcome back to RBL Weekly, the show where we take a look at some of the best battles from across the Roast Battle League. I am the RBL Commissioner, joined by a special guest host today. Sarah Keller is out, and we're replacing her with the champ.
Yay, I'm here because Sarah Keller has a family that loves her.
Your family, so how many years after you became the Comedy Central Roast Battle champion did you have the respect of your family?
Oh, I never had the respect of my family.
Wow.
The respect they show me towards, they brag about me nonstop to anyone and whoever listens. But if I'm hanging out with my family, they still make fun of me. It doesn't matter, and none of that matters.
Good, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Of course not. Yeah,
right?
Me neither.
Absolutely. This is Frank Castillo, by the way. The champ is back. You've co-hosted a few episodes. I'm excited to turn to you for this one because this is an episode that we have a themed episode, and it reminds me a little bit of when I first started and when I came around, and there was a role that you sort of played in that. We're doing a tournament right now. Are you familiar with this tournament?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been watching. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're focusing on the tournament battles today, and we put together one in L.A., basically to determine who is next up for a title shot. Mm-hmm. Now, when I first started battling, end of 2014, I came around and you were the guy. Mm-hmm. This is pre-Comedy Central.
It's pre-everything.
Pre-everything. We're not on TV yet, and before you were the guy on TV, you were the guy in the belly room. You were undefeated. Mm-hmm. You were the champion. Mm-hmm. It's a weird sort of, when you first start, you're like, how do I climb sort of this ladder and get up to this final boss?
Because there's no pathway. It's always just kind of do you want to battle? Do you want to battle? Right? Yeah.
Right.
We didn't have the ranking systems at that point either, too.
I think they just sort of implemented the ranking systems, which was good because for me, I didn't really know people. So I was like, oh, I'm 38. Let me take on whoever's 36 and try to do it that way and work my way up. But it seemed like, you get there and you're like, well, I can't battle Frank. Frank is the man. I'm all the way at the bottom. I got to work my way. You know what I mean? And there was no real way to do that because also if I came up to you and I was like, hey, do you want to battle? And you were like, no.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the discussion. There's nothing. There was no sort of committee to make matchups. Yeah. I mean, when you were the champ, did you choose who you wanted to face, or they gave you somebody?
It was literally we were just pointing at people do you want to battle? I guess right? Because there wasn't. We were all still kind of figuring it out. There wasn't a solid what it is now, where we all kind of now know what we want, how the best way to do this direction. Because we've been doing it now for what? 6-7 years.
Oh my God, longer than that.
8-10
We're coming up on 10 years.
We're coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, 2023 will be the 10-year anniversary at some point of Roast Battle.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, the show was. It's only 10 years old, so the show's still growing, and now we really figured out how to get someone who's young, shows up, battles, starts figuring out their own pathway to eventually getting a tournament slot like this.
Yeah, and the first tournament that I remember us doing was, I was about a year in, and I was one of the newer guys in the tournament. You were in it, Jay Light, all the established people. Yeah. And we had this 16-person tournament that culminated at
Sweet 16, yeah.
Riot Fest in L.A. was the finals.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And for me, it was the first time where they're like, okay, here's the brackets. You don't have to figure out your opponent. You don't have to awkwardly ask people it's prom. This is, and I made the finals, and I got smashed by Leah Kajanian in the finals. She was on fire that tournament. But it was a really cool thing because I felt like it sort of elevated me to like a higher point. And this was the point behind this tournament that I conceived. I'm like, nobody who's battled 30, 40 times. These are all people who are kind of like on that second tier trying to work their way up to the first. So we put this tournament together, and I've only seen a couple of the battles we're going to watch today. The rest are new to me, and I'm excited to see them.
Me too. Yay!
Fantastic. So the reigning champion in the belly room, Omid Singh, supposed to defend his title in October versus Sarah Keller. She had to drop out of that. She dropped out of this today. Wow. Like,
see what happens when your family loves you?
Yeah.
Like,
and when you have a career and stuff. She had to drop out because she's like, I have to act for television tomorrow morning.
What a sellout.
I know, right? Be a failure like the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't have to
Jesus
act.
Christ.
I gotta clean out my cat box.
Is that what you call it, a cat box?
No, I have cats, and they poop a lot.
It's called a litter box.
Litter box? Oh, I don't want to. I've been saying it wrong this
But yeah, so she was supposed to challenge Omid. She was unable to do so. So now the next title match is going to be the winner of this tournament going up against Omid. He's going to have had a few months off probably, and they're going to have been battling. Would you rather, if you have a big one coming up, would you rather do one sort of every month and stay in the groove, or just have some time off?
Every month.
Yeah.
Every month's nice. Every month, or at least 3 to 4 weeks in between.
Okay.
Because that gives you like 2 weeks off and then 2 weeks to like prepare.
So you think whoever wins this will have an advantage going into that title match?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, the only question left is who will win this thing. So it was an 8-person tournament. We're finished the first round and one of the semifinals. So we're just going to go chronologically in the order that the battles happened and check them out and then break them down. Got it. I love you. I don't know what you're doing, but I love it.
I'm excited. I love watching these battles. They're so fun.
Hell yeah. So we got 5 of them. We're going to go in reverse order, although they're not in any particular order. Number 5, we're going to open up with. This was the first battle of the tournament. This is Ashley Johnson against Nate Welch. A little bit of a mirror match. You'll see what I mean if you don't know him already. Let's check it out.
God damn.
That was an accident. Ashley loves UFC. Underage fat chicks.
Facts. Nate's opinion on Jewish people starts with the phrase, "I was raised in a swamp."
I don't get that one, Heisenberger. Ashley looks like he knows a lot about rocks.
Facts. I didn't believe Nate was from New Orleans until I saw him beating up a stripper named Katrina.
That bitch destroyed my house. You look like Donkey Kong if he threw Cracker Barrels.
I like that one. I like that one. That was good. Solid.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, Ashley also looks like he runs a smoke shop with a dumbass name. Like Outback Vape House.
I'm back on board. I like that one. Outback Vape House. Nate compares his sexuality to wrestling an alligator. As long as you're on top, it's fine.
Facts. Gotta keep it going for George Hard R. Martin.
Love it. Love it. Yes, Queen. Nailed it.
Yes.
Nate looks like he roofies women just to practice pro wrestling moves on them. Like, he won't rape you, but he'll put you in a figure 4 like a motherfucker.
Practice makes perfect, you know what I'm saying? Your face looks like a feminist armpit.
I see what you did.
Ashley looks like a Viking that's been pillaging pantries and raping refrigerators.
Guys, Nate's white, but if you close your eyes and listen real carefully, it sounds just like he's pretending to be black. Like, how does your voice blackface, man?
You look like I sound.
All right. wow. So that was my first time seeing that battle, and Nate won.
Yeah.
Nate advanced in the tournament. I had that kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
I thought I was waiting for the moment, going in knowing who won. I'm waiting for the moment where it's like, oh, that
Is
was
the decider.
yeah, like the momentum shift. You know, we've all felt it. Like you're on
Yeah,
stage
yeah.
and everything's kind of neck and neck, and then the other person hits a fucking haymaker, and you're like, damn, I'm behind. I didn't see it there. I thought that was really close the whole way through.
It was very close the whole way through. Ashley, they both handled each other's jokes so well. It was also fun to see the facts thing switch. And it's clearly two friends battling. You know what I mean? Like, it's very fun. They've gotten better. They're both like, I was just smiling and laughing the whole time. But yeah, you're right. I think there wasn't a big momentum shift, but I definitely think Nate edged it out just a little bit. But I mean, that was a tough one to judge for sure.
Yeah, dude. To me it was neck and neck. And you talked about like the friends aspect of it. That's the tough thing with these tournaments is like anytime you create a competitive environment, whether it's for a title or like the cash prize or whatever, where there's like
A TV credit.
dangling must be nice. Must be nice. Some of us are digital stars, and that means something too. But anytime you create those competitive stakes, sometimes you lose that friendly like nature of it. That had both of them, which you love to see.
Absolutely.
Really liked it. I don't even have any like technical analysis. The only thing that jumped out at me was Ashley. It was really interesting that he used the that joke as a closer, where if you close your eyes, Nate's voice sounds like this. It's interesting. I would have put that earlier. Because then every time Nate speaks, the crowd hears that, and they remember your joke that was funny, and maybe it takes some of the sting out of your opponent's stuff.
I think the best example of that was when Olivia Grace battled. God, what was her name? She had the
Ashley Barnhill.
Ashley Barnhill, and she goes, Ashley talks so slow Ashley talks so slow by the end of it.
By the time she yells rape, it's already over or something like that.
Yeah, and then I just remember the next time she went to speak, she said like 2 words, and just the audience just immediately started rumbling and laughing.
Yeah.
Because the joke from before was still so fresh in their minds.
Yeah, absolutely. That battle is an all-time... one of the most classic vicious beatdowns I've ever seen in roast battle. The Olivia Grace era was like short-lived, but my God,
oh, amazing!
Was
so
it
funny.
It's like Sandy Koufax or something.
Yeah. Another one was great. Was you remember the Hormones Rashidi Virginia Collins battle?
No, that predates even me.
Oh shit! All right.
No, tell me about it.
I'm speaking apocrypha, dog. This is
this is like somebody talking about like shoeless Joe Jackson or something.
We'll talk about it out there. Out the episode.
That's a sign it was a great battle. I can't wait to hear whatever this backstory is. But great opening battle for the tournament. Really impressive stuff from both of them. Congratulations to Nate for moving on, and we'll be seeing a little bit more of him later on in this episode. But who will he be going against, Frank? That's the real question.
Absolutely.
He'll be going against the winner of this next battle. Ooh. Yeah, that's called foreshadowing, baby. Now, this is a battle between a couple of people that I think are really tough to write for. So I'm interested to see kind of what angles they took. Ryan Nesson, one of the best win-loss records of anybody in roast battle, but frankly, nobody wants to face him because he is not a big target. He's a little bit boring. And he is, and I say that almost as an insult. All that means is he has like his shit together.
Yeah.
Like he's not fat or gross. He doesn't have tragedies in his life that anyone's aware of. Like,
he's like, I've had a good life. I'm good looking. You know what I mean? I got like a lovable wife. Why does anyone want to battle me in my perfect life?
Yeah, only in roast battle could it be like, you're too successful and handsome. Fuck you. You suck at this.
Yeah, you've got too many good things happening for you. You're just a cool guy.
Right, and also one of the better joke writers that we've seen come along in recent years. Always on point, always sharp jokes.
Oh man, we shouldn't be giving him this many compliments. It's gonna go to his head. It's
yeah. Well, we're about to show a battle where maybe he doesn't do well. I haven't seen this one, so I'm building him up now because watching him fall would be delightful.
Oh, hilarious! Yeah, I do like Ryan. He's making a lot of moves and he's made a lot of progress since he started.
Yeah, and he in terms of roast battle has been pretty good since the beginning, but keeps getting better. Kelsey Lane, on the other hand, he does, which I love. Everybody in this tournament, I feel like, really cares.
Yes,
which is one thing that I thought about when booking them. They want to move up and do the next thing. Kelsey Lane is somebody who started like a 500 record for a while.
Yeah.
But over the last like year and a half,
She's gotten really good.
she really has. We went up to San Francisco to battle up there, right around your hometown. We battled at Cobb's a few months back. We did an LA versus.
Was that there?
You were not at that
Oh,
one.
okay.
No.
I was at a different one, I think.
You've gone up and done a lot of the
Yeah.
Bay Area stuff since then, and they're killing it up there.
Oh, yeah. Love those guys.
All over the place, performing at a bunch of different venues. But this one was at Cobb's. It was LA versus San Francisco, or LA versus the Bay, and we took Kelsey up there, and she crushed it there too. So this is her latest chance to make a name for herself, and she's going up against Ryan in the first round of the tournament. Let's check it out.
All right, guys. Kelsey looks like the girl from The Ring and an adult woman who will never get one.
First of all, ladies, cover your drinks. Just for your safety. Ryan is like a brother to me. We're not close or anything. I would just never, ever fuck Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I'm asking for it. That's great. Guys, let's keep it going for Wednesday Adam's apple. Guys, Kelsey dated a woman for an entire year, and every night they scissored. Pictures of other women from magazines to cover Kelsey's face with.
I am bisexual, so I know a giant pussy when I see one.
I'm not a mirror.
Ryan believes that women are beneath him, and they are, in the floorboards of his house.
Was that my wife? Jesus, dude. Speaking of huge pussies,
Thank you.
Kelsey's pussy is like a spirit Halloween store. It's big, it's scary, and once you've been inside, you don't need to go back for at least a year.
Yep, it's true. I have a giant pussy. But to be fair, it saw him coming and it just did anything it could to keep him the fuck away from it. Ryan has a low sperm count, and that's like super weird or whatever, but he but he really wants to have a son. And that's just so that his won't be the smallest dick his wife has ever seen.
It's true, I have a low sperm count. I'm jealous of Kelsey because the sperm count in her hair is much higher than mine.
Almost as high as the one in your mouth.
Kelsey. Kelsey's dad was an abusive heroin addict. So whether it was Kelsey or drugs, he was always down for another hit. In fact, beating Kelsey was the only time he ever laid the smack down.
That's good. I like that. Ryan's dad had stomach cancer, but that's just from... You're fucked up.
That's the joke.
That was from years of swallowing the truth of what a big loser Ryan is.
Thank you, Ellen Scissors Clams. Is that our last one? Is that what you said? I think so. Oh, okay. All right. Kelsey has terrible genital warts. Kelsey's genital warts are so bad, a blind guy fingered her and described it as the worst book ever. It's a tough read.
Fun fact, Ryan's actually had his nose broken 3 times. But that was just his wife defending herself. Ryan can't get his wife pregnant. We know that. But that's just because he can't go more than a month without punching her in the stomach.
Guys, let's keep it going for average Levine. I know I've done a lot of pussy jokes, but Kelsey's pussy's so big it warrants a third one. Kelsey's pussy is such a disaster that if she wanted to do vaginal reconstruction, she'd have to pull city permits.
Watching, I was like, I think Ryan's got it.
I thought the same thing.
I thought Ryan had it the whole way, and then the last joke really fucking. And that's the thing that kills it for me is those overtimes. Sometimes it really like, yeah. She had the best overtime joke, and then that pulling construction. It was good, but it was like I don't think it was overtime worthy.
So we can break down the art of constructing an overtime joke and everything like that because I have some thoughts on. Once you're in overtime. He had a job to do, and he didn't do the job.
Yeah.
So he deserved to lose at that point.
Yeah.
However, let's first talk about whether or not the overtime was deserved. Because this has been a thing that we've seen a million times.
And I also feel guilt. I have been guilty of being like, and so overtimes it does feel like there's times where overtimes they're deserved, and there are times where it feels like the overtimes are used because the judges don't want to make a decision.
Yes.
And I say that because I'm guilty of that.
Same.
And yeah, this one, I don't know if an overtime was warranted. I think that was close enough to where the judges should have had to make a tough decision because Kelsey made a great job. Ryan also had really good jokes too. I think if there wasn't an overtime, that would have been a harder battle to judge.
For sure. Now, look, when there's not stakes,
Yeah.
quote unquote, when there's nothing on the line, when it's just a battle, and even then there's something on the line. There's pride. There's you want to win.
People, there's two people on the stage. It is on the line for them.
Exactly, and they've worked really, really hard, and they
Yeah.
want a win, even though it means, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm competitive, so I get it. But when, in those situations, I'm more apt to say, okay, let's do an overtime. But when there is something on the line like this, there's a title shot, sometimes you are convincing yourself that what in your head was a 10-10 round is that, when in reality it was a 10-9.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that one person did poorly, one person did way better, but I did have Ryan edging it at the end of regulation. Kelsey had a couple off-the-cuff rebuttals, which are always an interesting choice because when they hit, sometimes it hits bigger than anything in the room.
Sometimes it takes away.
And to me, it kind of took away.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the same thought you did, which is through regulation, I had Ryan edging it. And who knows, maybe it felt differently in the room. Sometimes it translates differently on video. But to me, I thought Ryan edged it. Now, that being said, it went to overtime. If you're going to do a joke, don't preface it by being like, hey, I know I've done a lot of these kind of jokes, unless it's necessary, unless that's part of the joke, which it wasn't. In my mind, I was having so much fun throughout the battle. I didn't notice how many pussy jokes he did.
No, they were both different and well enough. And the only reason I knew he did multiple pussy jokes is because he said it before.
Exactly.
So it was like,
that's the thing. So he set himself up where it's like now I'm watching with an extra critical eye where I'm like,
And
well,
I
this
already-
better be the best pussy joke I've ever
and
heard.
I already know the pussy joke's coming.
Yes, exactly. So to me, if he had it to do over again, I'll bet he would leave that part out.
Yeah. And
Because setting yourself up like that.
even to say Kelsey had made tons of jokes about him being the kind of guy that hits his women, the race with all this stuff. So it's like she did the same thing, but she didn't telegraph it.
Yeah.
And so, that's why it hit bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when you're up there, if I'm battling you and I write 5 Mexican jokes, I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, here comes another Mexican joke, everybody. Sorry. I'm just going to be like,
lean into that and be like, this fucking wet bit. No.
yeah, dude, he's been Mexican. That's not my problem. He's the one who's fucking Mexican. That's on him, right?
This bean-eating mother. And then you fucking just swing,
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? You're lazy. Your people are lazy.
Yeah. Tap into that Philadelphia like these fucking tamale chuckers.
Tamale chuckers, Jesus Christ.
I like how I just imagine you're like just a crazy deep racist, but it's still like the racism's based in food.
If that was true, the Mexicans are the least of my problems.
Oh, hilarious.
I actually went to a Mediterranean pizzeria. I live in Glendale, and they had a thing. They were selling a beverage called yogurt soda. And I was like, these are the people. If I'm going to be racist against anybody, it's the people putting out mint-flavored yogurt soda.
Ew.
Yeah, dude, disgusting.
Maybe if it was strawberry or something, maybe. But even then, it's like
Mint-flavored yogurt soda is the worst combination of words, other than Ryan's overtime joke. That was... No. It was a great battle. Again, I think Ryan maybe had the edge in regulation, but you got to be ready for the overtime. Now, you said that joke was maybe not worthy of an overtime joke. That's always a weird thing where it's like, do you save a heater for overtime and risk losing in regulation, or do you literally just go with your sixth best joke?
Exactly. That's the toughest thing. And there's been times where we've watched battles where people have said the last joke and it's been like they've been against, like they're in a position where they're losing, the momentum's not on them, they have to shift it and they go to overtime. Or like they're just, you could tell they're down and they hit a joke and you're like, you saved that?
Yeah.
That's the one you saved?
Right.
You almost weren't gonna do that? You know, like, and you're just like, oh shit, you know? I've seen some like great ones where it's like, that's insane that you sat on that.
Oh yeah, I've had them where I have a
it.
joke and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work, and I end up having to do it in like double overtime, and it blows the roof off, and they're like, you saved that? I'm like, in my defense, I thought it sucked.
Yeah. I'm sure there's so many of those.
Yeah, so there's no telling what's gonna work there, but congratulations to Kelsey for moving on. She's gonna face Nate. We're gonna see that at the end of the episode, but now let's stick with the first round. This is the bottom half of the bracket. This is Julian Fernandez, one of your fellow Mexicans, going up against Sarah Fatini of some race that I'm not totally sure. One of the Middle Eastern countries, right?
Yeah.
Julian versus Sarah. Let's check it out.
Julian's ex-girlfriend never let them go down on her, but as a Mexican, she let them trim her bush.
If you can't tell, Sarah's really into makeup. So much, in fact, her face was featured on an episode of Is It Cake?
That was a good one coming from someone who looks like they vape horchata.
Not a bad idea.
Julian's got a tattoo of a barcode, but you can only scan it with an EBT card.
Sarah's from Iran, but looks like she's from I'll sit.
Women, life, freedom, baby. Hey. Julian does a lot of impressions on his wrists with a knife.
Oh, thank you, Danielle DeVito. Sarah looks like the only gypsy to get friend-zoned by Quasimodo. I think we should just be friends.
This is a good battle. I would say we're neck and neck, but you don't have one. Julian's a voice actor, but that's not his only time using his throat for cash.
It's a very lucrative job. I don't know what you're all doing. Right, Gigi? Hell yeah. All right. Men treat Sarah's pussy like the Middle East. As soon as they pull out, they ignore her and all the dead kids they left behind.
I'm rebuttaling, yeah. That's true. I may be Muslim, but Julian is the one whose genitals are mutilated. Julian always dreamt of being a cartoon character, but the only time he'll ever get drawn is with a needle in his arm for hepatitis.
All these jokes are very real. I'm concerned. Sarah doesn't want to mention her age because she's afraid she'll lose future roles. But Sarah, to be honest, you got a role there, a role there. And hey, good news, you even got some lines. So
I think you're in the clear, bitch. I'm convinced Julian transitioned just to be mean to women. Because holy shit, that was so mean.
That's a catty bitch right there.
So catty.
Julian is non-binary.
But he's definitely an asshole.
Hey. They're definitely an asshole.
Definitely an asshole.
Watch your mouth, Frank.
I love you, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, my God, that was and that was one of the things that I love about the tournament idea is like it's an opportunity for anybody to have a career performance. Like the first one that really, and for me, like one of my first ones was against you, where it's like you go in as like a big underdog, but you're like in your head you're like, no, I got this, and you could tell that's where Julian was. I mean, maybe my two favorite jokes that we've heard today. Is it cake?
Is it cake? So fucking funny.
Unbelievable, because
so funny.
One thing that I think a lot of these settle into, and I've been guilty of it too, is like taking a word and like doing a double entendre about it. It's a classic roast format.
It's good. It's easy. It's been
yeah. Sarah's an actress. She has roles, lines. Roles and lines mean two different things. Perfect. The only thing he's been drawn is impressions on his all that shit. Right. Yeah. The word means two different things. That's the basis of the joke. But when somebody could take the is it cake joke. Didn't require any literary devices. It didn't. It was just a perfect reference.
Yeah, some jokes do break down into like the standard format of roast, and then there's just some that are. And I always try to think. I couldn't figure out the best way to describe them, but I always think of them as like narrative driven. Is the first thing that I can always think of when it's like you're writing a joke about someone, but you're putting them in a situation or a place, so it's no longer like you looks like or a blah blah blah. Where it is like a narrative driven joke where it's like she wears a lot of makeup.
Yep.
Blah, 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 is it cake?
Yes.
And that's just a solid, like, just one from point A to point B. It's not like anything. It's so good.
It's perfect, and it's one of those things that, like, to me, if you're sitting down and trying to write jokes, you probably don't come up with it. That's probably a joke where you're, like, driving along in the car.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
And you got to pull over immediately. Sure. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we talk about, double entendres. He had three in the one joke about, like, her pussy is, like, Iran, like, or the Middle East, like, after they pull out the dead kids and everything like that. Like, to me, if you're going to do those jokes, that's, like, the biggest swing you could possibly take where you're like, I'm going to put three of them in one joke. And that was outstanding, too.
Yeah, it was good.
Great stuff. I mean, look, Sarah was good. This was the first battle I saw, though, where to me, this was not a 10-9.
No.
This was not a 10-10.
Julian showed up.
Julian showed up and performed at a level beyond what we've seen out of them in the past. Not to say that they're not good. And I love, by the way, that they still had to work in one impression. Julian's like, I don't know, halfway through I'll do my fucking Quasimodo.
And it was a good one, too.
It's good. Julian's impressions are outstanding. We actually saw him when I was in Denver with Jeff back in April. Julian happened to be there doing other shows, and he came through and did a couple guest sets and just crushed. A lot of great impressions. Obviously something that they specialize in, but sometimes Julian has overdone them in the roast battle. It's like, did you really write a joke about how your white 26-year-old opponent reminds you of Morgan Freeman just so you can do that voice?
So you can squeeze an impression? Yeah, there's been a string of people that really lean on impressions coming into the roast battle.
I'm not sure I get that.
Were you not there last night?
That reference.
The other Tuesday with Elon?
Oh my God!
Oh no, you left.
Yeah. No, I left. Yeah, after he did 5 minutes in his first judging segment, I was out.
You can cut this video. I'm just gonna fill him in, but I mean you can leave it in. I don't give a shit. So he leaves right, and he keeps judging, and he does like his impressions right when he gets there, and I have to run down and go to the OR. So I run down and go to the OR. I come back, he's still doing impressions.
Oh my God!
Everyone's just like clear, like a fucking Dementor was in there sucking everyone's soul.
It was the first battle. I was so excited for the night, and then he was like, "You guys are both great." The only thing I could think is like, what would it be like if Trump judged this battle? You guys both stink. You're both terrible. I'm Donald Trump. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I gotta go.
So I walk in. I walk in. I sit down. They're like, Frank's back. I'm like, oh sweet. Is Elon Gold still running material?
You can cut this out or leave it in. Nobody's
And then
watching.
I asked him
Doesn't matter.
after he did his 5th impression, I was like, do you have an impression of a really good judge?
Oh my God. Did that hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it did. Fuck. We love being mean and we can't turn it off.
Yeah, man. I checked IDs for too long, and I think it really still weighs on me. All right.
But outstanding job by Julian. Really great stuff.
Good job.
Yeah. And the writing just keeps getting sharper and sharper, and looking forward to seeing what Julian brings to the next round. Now,
I'm loving Julian's growth.
absolutely. And one of the things that I love about this tournament is, in terms of just results, we agree that Nate versus Ashley, to me, was as close as it gets. And we agree that Ryan might have edged out Kelsey. But in terms of the people who are just picking up the wins, these are 3 upsets. If you were putting money on this thing ahead of time, the shortest odds in Vegas to me would be Ashley, would have been Ryan. I think Sarah would have been favored over Julian, just going on win-loss records. 3 upsets, and it's a trend that would continue going into our 4th battle. It's the last battle of the first round. This is Zach Stein, who's been around a long time, has battled some, big-name people and put up some of the greatest jokes we've ever seen, going against Digits, who is a lovable character. We all get a kick out of Digits, but in terms of...
We all get a kick out of Digits.
He's great. He's great. And he's a lot of fun to watch. And I would argue maybe one of the most fun people in the entire sport.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely, he's a staple. He is a much-needed WWE wrestler
Big
character, kind of, you know what I mean? Consistency may or may not be his biggest problem that he has to overcome. But no, regardless, it's going to be a great show.
Always. And I knew this was going to be a great show, but I also would say that based strictly on win-loss record, Digits would be an underdog coming into this kind of thing. He would have to deliver a performance better than maybe one we've ever seen out of him. Yeah. And that's kind of what he was able to do. This is one of the few battles I've seen on this one. I judged this one, and I'm excited to rewatch it because I had just a great time watching this one. 2 of my favorites, Zach Stein, Digits. Let's check it out.
Yo, Zach isn't a sex offender. He's just offensive to sex.
He's over. Keep your eye. Oh, there he goes. What are you doing down there, Digits?
I'm just showing you how the fuck a skinny motherfucker drops down, homie.
Hell yeah!
Damn, what thought you were protesting ankle socks.
You mean ankle monitors.
Goddamn. Digits has a child and a baby mama who he doesn't see anymore. Yeah. Fucking even the Raiders left this guy.
The first part was my choice, though.
Give it up for Digits, everybody.
Yo, everybody give it up for RB Weinstein. Yo, Zach has a podcast called Friends Forever, which is also what he tells his victims right before preserving their dicks in jars. Friends Forever, eh?
Oh. Well, shit, looks like I'm on the way to collecting a new dick in a jar, baby. Let's fucking go.
You're gonna need a big one, dog.
Digits' prison nickname was Cottonmouth, which means he went to a nice prison. You know, at shittier prisons, he'd be biting down on polyester pillowcases.
The cotton pillows feel better on your teeth, dog. Stop the grind, homie. Hey, yo. Zach came from LA. He moved to LA to become an actor and win an Oscar. But so far, he's only been fucked by an actor named Oscar. And Hector and Paul. I don't know a lot of actor names, fool.
That is true, but when me and Oscar fucked, I'm pretty sure I won. So I think I got in there. And I won the Oscar because anyway, yeah. Man, I can't just roast Digits up here. I gotta tell you guys about my mom. She's a fucking racist. And she just constantly just like spits out like vile, hateful bullshit. Like it makes me sick. But having met Digits, she does make some good points about Mexicans. She was right about the Mexican. I gotta give her credit.
Hell yeah, dude. We still talk. Allegedly. Yo, Zach hates Kanye West, but it's not because he's anti-Semitic. Zach just hates agreeing with black people.
Oh, man. I was looking for a black person to disagree with, but goddamn are we homogenous tonight. What up? Back there? Anyway, Digits has a tattoo of Elizabeth Warren. Because who you guys... He really does. But you guys might remember that, former President Donald Trump... I've gotten over it. Former President Donald Trump called her Little Pocahontas, and he has a little poke that haunts him. It's prison rape again. We're talking about prison rape more.
It's not rape if you're willing, dog. Just saying, homie. Unlike your victims, homie, but it's alright, eh? Hey, yo. Zach looks like he ate all of Ben Stein's money.
Oh, he touched me. He's disqualified. I was just trying to match his whole racial caricature thing. Digits, his mom is a maid, his dad's a mechanic, his favorite drink is Corona, his favorite movie is Blood In, Blood Out. I feel like I'm just like waiting for like a BuzzFeed article to be like, we made an AI robot watch 1,000 hours.
Hey, I don't know.
Too many words.
Yo, I don't understand Yiddish, but yeah, Kanye, take that.
Man, listen. Zach Stein got thick. No,
yeah, that boy. You know what's crazy?
Stein,
Still one of the best tennis players I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Moving around at that weight.
Yeah,
he's a fucking beast.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen Digits do well. I've seen Digits not do well. But tonight was one of the nights where everything was firing on all cylinders and everyone was loving it. Every line he had, he leaned into his character, and it was Digits was all over him the second that battle started.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Digits, and he comes from the battle rap background where it's like it's way more aggressive. There's no room for self-deprecation in battle rap. It's got to be like my opponent's a piece of shit and I'm the fucking coolest guy on earth. Yeah. But one thing that he adapted to really well in the roast battle is, and I think it's not even conscious. I think he just says the first thing that pops into his head. But a lot of times it is like a self-deprecating, agreeing with the person. Like twice in that battle, he admitted to getting prison raped.
Yeah.
At least twice. There might have been more. But like, he just doesn't even think the guy's like, he got raped in prison. And like, Digits just instinctively goes down to one knee and is like, yeah, fool, I took a dick in my ass. And the place goes crazy. It's like, how do you How do you battle somebody like that?
Yeah,
right?
it's like watching him absorb the hit and just direct it back to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about that battle rap. It's almost like you know a lot about battle rap and the underground rap scene.
A little bit.
It's so weird, huh?
A little bit. That's my closeted background, dude. I told you I hid that from my wife.
Your wife comes
years.
home early for work. She just opens the door, just sees you in a do-rag, just fucking in a hoodie, just fucking.
No, I probably told you this story. I was watching a rap battle and she walked in on me and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, nothing." And then like it was almost like an intervention thing where she had to sit down. She's like, "Have you ever been in a rap battle?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, have you ever attended one? I'm like, "No, but I would." And she's like gauging how concerned she should be over me watching like smack battles from like 2010.
It was funny because I remember I was hanging out with I think it was Dirtbag Dan.
Yeah, when we did the King of the Dot thing.
Texting you and you were like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Wait, really?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm a really big I love rap battle."
Yeah,
holy shit, it was so funny.
Yeah, very out of character for the almost 40-year-old white guy.
No, pretty on.
It is pretty on point. As I found out later, it's totally on point. We are the target demo for rap battles. But Digits was first of all, both of these guys are great characters. Zach is a more subtle character. Obviously, Digits is like a cartoon character. Yeah. But Zach is one of the best characters we've ever seen in roast battle.
So funny.
Both very funny off the cuff. Absolutely. Both willing to take risks in terms of like the in the moment shit they do.
Yeah, sexuality. You know what
I mean? Yeah. Zach is not afraid to suck a dick for the bit.
Yeah, or get his dick sucked for the bit.
Gotta respect that. Gotta respect that. To me, the one thing, and I'm gonna talk about Digits in a minute, but the one thing I want to commend Zach on is his last 2 jokes did not work.
No.
But his last 3 were big swings.
Yeah.
They were non-traditional roast jokes. He really went for, like, just chucking them up from half court. Like, really heat checks. Like Steph Curry, like, pulling up from 40 feet. Yeah. And the third one, his third joke worked really well. 4th and 5th did not. But I really respect that. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing that I've grown tired of in 10 years of watching roast battle, it's somebody doing a paint-by-numbers roast battle that they know will work. When you've been doing this, when you've done it more than 15, 20 times, take some fucking swings up there, man.
Yeah, because it's like even if you don't win, you at least have the respect to 2 guys that do this as a hobby.
Yeah. You have the deepest admiration from 2 people who could not possibly matter less. Absolutely. You have our admiration, and Zach certainly has it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Digits has something more important, which is a win in roast battle. That dude was killing it. The jokes were well written. Like I judged that one, and I remember saying, like, I think that was the highest level Digits had ever written at.
Yep.
His jokes were really on point. He always has the character and the swag and everything like that, but the jokes were on point.
The one joke he did, that I think it was like the second joke in, and it was like I said, it was like a narrative-driven joke, and it was like I've never seen him do a joke like that.
Yeah.
I've literally have only seen him do jokes these certain kinds of ways. So to see this growth where he literally did one joke, and it was unlike any of the writing I've ever seen him do, and I was like, okay, this is you growing.
And I remember that joke because the word choice at the end was great. He wanted to do a joke about how Zach was like a serial killer. Friends Forever, named his podcast, very tied it into Zach. And he could have just said, Friends Forever, that's what he tells his victims before he kills them.
Yeah.
But instead he was like, before he puts their dick in a jar.
Yeah, it was like, you added a whole extra layer to that joke?
Yeah.
That's so specific.
Yeah, the phrase dick in a jar is very, very funny.
Dick in a jar is so funny.
And then on the other end, the simplicity of he looks like he ate Ben Stein's money.
All of Ben Stein's money. It's so funny because he looks like a young Ben Stein.
Yep.
And he's fat.
Yeah, absolutely. And props to Zach for taking his roast battle to the next level and getting super fat to give his opponents more of a target.
Really, really just helping the whole community out.
I admire that dedication to the craft.
Absolutely, yeah.
Big time.
To the craft table.
Yes, craft services. Craft singles. But, great job from both of them. Digits, to me, was on a whole other level. He will be facing Julian in the next semifinal match coming up on December 13th. We're aiming for December 27th for the finals, which means we have one more battle to watch today, and that was the first semifinals. The winner of this goes on to the finals at the end of the year, and this is 2 people that we saw earlier in the show. This is Nate Welch and Kelsey Lane. Both had extremely competitive battles in the first round. This actually went down a couple days ago, and as we discussed, I left before this happened, so I haven't seen this one. So I'm really excited. You saw this one, right? You judged this?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if it's close, if the judging is fucked up, I'm gonna call you to the carpet on this
Damn
one.
it. Okay.
I can't wait. All right, so Nate versus Kelsey. Let's check it out.
Kelsey looks like she sings emo songs about getting finger banged in a Fiat. Her pussy's so beat up it got cauliflower ear.
Yeah. I have a huge pussy. Making it the second biggest pussy on stage tonight. Nate looks like Elmer Fudd if his catchphrase was, "Shh, I'm hunting women."
That was a really good one, Edward Scissors Chicks.
Thank you, Frumpty Dumpty.
No problem, Skeetle Juice. Skeetle Juice! Skeetle Juice! Kelsey licks clit and sucks dick, greedy bitch. Save some for the rest of us, you hungry hipster.
I do. I have sex with women with consent. Something Nate's thinking about trying one day.
I don't even know what that means.
That's the problem. Nate was planning on storming the Capitol, but it was free cone day at Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, I look like I stormed the Capitol. You look like a member of the Third Dyke. Hail Clitler. No, I said Hail Clitler.
Maybe if you say it louder, they'll laugh.
Oh, no, okay. Cool. Kelsey's pussy is such a disaster. The first time her boyfriend took her drawers off, he called FEMA.
Nate reminds me of some like weird white trash genie that only comes out when you rub an Arby's menu.
That was a pretty good one. Winona pussy can't get any wider. Kelsey looks like that bitch Kate Bush if she'd been running up that road and running out of pills.
Good one, Westboro Baptist Smurf. All lives fatter. I don't know. I just figured if I keep doing bad ones like you.
Okay.
Nate's voice, dude. Nate sounds like Foghorn Leghorn if he say the N-word.
Y'all keep it going for Tim Burton's blow up doll. Kelsey showed her tits at Mardi Gras and they threw her anal beads.
And Nate wouldn't stop asking me for them. Nate's favorite rapper is Lil Wayne because every time he goes up a flight of stairs, he gets a little wheezy.
Wheezy F, baby, and the F is for fat as fuck. Okay.
Guys, keep it going.
Nate's a bouncer. His favorite things to bounce are his own titties when he laughs.
Kelsey and her boyfriend have bed bugs in their Volkswagen.
Did you laugh because it didn't hit, or did you laugh because you got the joke?
No, first of all, that joke should have hit.
It should have.
That joke to me is very funny. Bed bugs in their Volkswagen is funny.
Because they live in their car.
Yeah, no, I got I got it.
Moses had to explain it.
So, earlier in the show, we watched Kelsey
I knew you were gonna
maybe
make
get
this
an
joke.
undeserved overtime, and then Ryan lose a battle that he maybe should have won. And now we just watched Kelsey have to suffer through an undeserved overtime and win a battle twice that she should have won once because of, I'm assuming, incompetent judging.
Yes.
Would you like to speak on this, Frank?
Yes. I would say incompetent judging. But also, I mean, even I had even said I think I went to me first. I even said I was like Nate did good, blah blah, but I have to give it to Kelsey. She edged it out, and then someone mentioned overtime joke, and then I was like, if we do go to overtime, that's fine. I was like, but right now for me, Kelsey edges it.
Okay, respect, because she definitely took that one.
Yeah. And I noticed you made a face. She did a thing where she made the same two big pussy jokes on stage.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and there's also a thing that I noticed is like, not every guy is a roofing, non-consenting rapist.
Every white guy
I mean?
is in roast battle.
But every white guy is.
Every white guy is in roast battle.
Yeah.
That is, and to be fair, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because white people have an inherent advantage being able to use
Whoa,
racism and all this in roast battle. In roast battle,
Yeah.
we can go up there and spew any Mexican or Asian stereotypes or black or whatever the case may be. There has to be something that evens it out for everybody else, and that just happens to be calling us all racist, rapists, and pedophiles. And that's part of the deal when you sign up for it. You're like, I get it. At least white women, you can do the Karen thing, but a boring white guy, there's only so much you can do. I get it. But yeah, so she used the same rebuttal twice. Now look, it sticks out a lot more because we just watched them 20 minutes apart. In reality, these battles were 3 weeks apart or something like that. And I guess you could say, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Because I have always been of the mindset, if I use a rebuttal once, it's done.
Yeah.
Unless there's a special occasion, if you're going on TV or something, you want to bring something back. I get that. But
TV's different.
TV's a weird gray area. But in the belly room, I have always been of the mindset, you use it once and then it's gone forever. Yeah. What is your opinion on that?
I think it's used once, gone forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we land. I'm not going to fault anybody who thinks otherwise. She used
Killed
it.
Kelsey Lane. No, I'm just kidding. Nah. I mean, it happens. Whatever. It's not like she didn't lift another joke. She didn't. You know what I mean? It was just, that's fine.
Yeah, and sometimes in the same vein, like Nate did a joke, and I don't remember the one right now, but very, very similar to one that Ryan had done earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Scissors, yes. Yeah. The fact that they both, first of all.
Also, does Kelsey have a huge pussy? Like, what is, like...
It must be massive. It just... If we're taking the jokes as reality, yes.
I mean, it's also like, so you also got to think of, like, is this... If it's not a thing that's based in fact, which is a weird thing to be like, does she have a huge pussy? And then it also just goes like, now you're just painting this girl as having a huge vagina. And now for the rest of her career in LA, everyone's going to be like, no, Kelsey's got a huge vagina.
And the thing is, you can't... Like, we meet up before the battles to exchange information. Like, let's say Digits battles her in the finals. He can't go to a bar with her and be like, yo, can I see your pussy? I want to fact check something before I write my material. Like, that's how you get arrested.
And also, what if she was going around to those meetings just being like, I have a huge vagina? You know what I mean?
That's what I would open with.
That's
if
so
I had
funny.
one? Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
So
cartoon characters. Like when you enter that ring against the other person in roast battle,
you
kind of, like you were saying before, you kind of become this cartoon character of a person, right?
Well,
like every woman has a giant pussy. Every black person's got a fucking spear and a ring to their nose, right? That's it.
Yeah, no, I think that there's, and I don't know if the mics caught that, but Brian Moses just asked, when you get in the ring, isn't everybody essentially a caricature of themselves?
Yeah.
And everything is kind of, on the table as far as that goes, and I agree with that.
I feel like if stand-up is you're playing a heightened version of yourself, then roast battle is definitely the heightened character version of yourself. You are highlighting all of your, not worst attributes, but attributes that can be and exploited and made fun of.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Things like Mel Blanc would basically draws a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all on the table, right? It's just like, if you're Mexican, it's some kind of weird
bald or whatever.
If
Yeah.
you're black, right? If you're a lady, if you're trans, whatever. It's everything is on the table, and we're all saying like, everybody use the guns on the table, everybody use the knives on the table, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're fat, you are going to be called morbidly obese. If you have a slightly big nose, it's the biggest nose anyone has ever seen.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, whatever you go in there with, we could turn it up to 10. That being said, I have no idea the size of Kelsey's pussy. I don't know. But
we got a Kelsey.
We're taking some creative liberties. One thing in that battle that I saw that I wish would kind of die forever, unless you have an absolutely great one, the thank you so and so, the corny like play on words, and they both had like half a dozen of them. It was so much.
That is definitely me and Jay Light's fault. We apologize
You guys started that.
Every couple of years we text each other. We'll text each other these clips, and then we'll just be like, "Look, oh God, we've really fucking you know what I mean? We fucking onside punted kicked, and now everyone's doing it."
Yeah, and to have it really becomes more obvious when you have two Kelsey Lane battles where they make different Edward Scissorhands. Ryan said Ellen Scissors Clams, and he went with Edward Scissors Women or something like that. Like in either case. Like, unless you have a can't miss one, just leave that one on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
To me.
The advice I'd give everyone else, and the advice that was given to me was, especially when you're a couple more years into the roast battle, is like, you know, for the longest time, you're always, especially as a young comic, you're always thinking A to B, A to B, A to B. After a few years, you got to start thinking like A to B, and then after that, you're like, all right, well, let's see what C and D look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really start going in and waiting to, like, you know, you'll have that first joke you come up, but you know, go in that extra layer, like with what Digit said, where he was like, he could have just said, you know, this is what he says to his victims before he kills them, but he added that extra layer of like putting their dicks in a jar.
Right.
So it's shit like that. It's like adding that extra little piece that makes it a little more unique and a little more special and a little more sharper on the edge.
Yeah, and the thank you so and so's are as A to B as it gets.
So A to B.
Yeah, and every now and then, if you have a great, I don't want to discourage people from thinking of them, but if you think of 50 of them, chances are there's one in there that's actually decent.
Yeah, listen, me and Jay Light, we're fucking white guys just learning how to pass the ball back and forth. You know what I mean? We fucking blew the mold off. They're like, oh my God, is that a layup? You know what I mean? What is that?
Yeah, these guys were doing granny style free throws into a fucking peach basket.
But I mean, get back into that. I like the skill of it all, right? I mean, it almost sounds like gaining, you know, white belts, black belts, blue belts kind of a thing.
Oh, really is.
Or we're even talking about skill sets for like boxing. You know, it's like you have to learn how to punch before you start, you know, kickboxing.
What I do, I'm not in roast writing rooms often, but I am ghost writing a lot. So when I do ghost write for people, it's like I'll do it to where it's like you write a bunch of jokes, it's structures, like just skeletons, and then I'll go up and I'll start picking the ones that I like, and then I'll start like, it's almost like a Lego piece. I'll start like fucking fiddling with it and start adding words, taking away, doing a different narrative, breaking it down, and then you start doing that more and more and more. And by the end of it, now you have a full monologue style roast jokes, right? So it's like boom, boom, who's the narrative, everything connects, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it should be done. Because sometimes you'll see, this is what I've heard, you'll see certain people go into these roast writers' rooms and they haven't learned that skill yet, and they're all just giving A to B jokes, which those are needed. But when it comes to roast writing and like a writer's room with the dais and stuff, you have to have these full narrative, like full on, like you are giving a speech kind of.
And you have to be able to think in multiple ways.
Absolutely.
Like when I did the Baldwin roast, they hire a bunch of writers over the course of 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in and only worked the third week. So I went in like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner is on the dais. Here's a good trans joke I have. And they're like, we have 30,000 of those.
Yep.
We have spent 2 weeks writing every Caitlyn Jenner trans joke that exists. Here's what we need. We need very specific jokes about this very specific thing. And you have to be able to pivot. You can't go in and just do like the really basic stuff because it's already done.
Yeah, everything's already done.
Now, one thing that Moses said that I love is that the levels of roast battle writing are almost like the belts, right? You start with the white belt and you kind of work your way up to the black belt. I think the reason that this stood out so much is because this whole tournament is people who are on their blue belt or whatever the fifth belt is, who are working their way up to brown and black. And we are like, you are so close to being a black belt. And a lot of that writing felt like white belt writing. I think that's why it stood out. I think if I saw this exact battle between two people who were both 1-0, I would feel differently about it.
Of course.
But for two people who have been around as long as they have, and we saw them both earlier in this episode, advanced so far beyond that level of writing to revert back to that, I think is jarring almost. You know?
And it was also, 3 weeks in between battles?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, and it really shows how amazing people are that are able to do it, you know, week with week or a small timetable in between, you know, almost like a tournament on TV.
I mean, Pat, even go back to what you were saying.
What's up, Moses?
Even go back to what you were saying about, you know, defense. Like you're saying, like Joe Urell does a good thing when he does defense, right? Like he's so good at just like staying in the pocket and just kind of being who he is, right? Making everybody self-aware of what's happening. And that's kind of like his defense mechanism. Like, how do you, when you learn the A to B thing, when you kind of learn how to be offensive, how can you make roast battle defensive for you? How can you expose somebody's style?
Well,
and then poke at that. Like you do it very well.
I think one thing you could, and this is something I relate to what Nate did. I think one area where Nate struggled in this was playing defense.
Yeah.
And I have run into this too. Certain people, and this group includes myself and Nate, naturally have a more aggressive sort of tone, right? So when you are playing defense, especially if you're battling a woman who is very likable, it's tough. It's tough. But one thing you cannot do, and we actually saw it work last week. Sarah Keller and I covered a battle from the Bay Area where the guy was sort of aggressive, and he used words like bitch, like aggressively, and it worked. But the majority of times, and we kind of saw it with Nate there, he was almost aggressively playing defense. And even in his descriptions of certain jokes, like I don't remember all the examples, but he had one where he was like, "She reminds me of that bitch Kate Bush."
Yeah.
It's like there was no need to do that. And I think Nate, in trying to play defense, sort of pushed himself into a corner and made himself look unlikable. He was going for the full court press, and it's like you didn't have to do that. You could have played zone for a minute.
Likability is so important, especially when you're going against women or against just people where it's like because it is all about like looks and stuff. Like when you're going up with a battle, it's like they're already immediately judging you. It's like white guy look like this versus white woman look like this. It's like there's already the dynamic at play of like
punching up versus punching down, basically. Like somebody's punching up, somebody's punching down. Whatever two.
No matter what battle it is, there's always that kind of view. And so you're right, the second you're like bitch or blah blah, it's too much. And that's also the thing is like if you're a woman, you can easily be like but also that's why the thing about the playing and the thing was like right when they started, she even kind of was like, she was like, careful, cover your drinks, he kind of he tends to roofie, where it's like, all right, even if that's not true, you've already like set the groundwork for it. So it's like there are different like things you could do.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think that Nate, I also think it's kind of a momentum thing because I don't know if everybody does this, but I'm always keeping score in my head. I'm ahead by a little bit. I'm behind by a little bit. It's neck and neck. I'm way up. I'm way down, yada, yada, yada. And you saw with Ashley where he felt like he was either in the lead or it was super close. He didn't lose his cool at all. And I feel like he fell behind in this battle and lost his cool a little bit.
Absolutely.
And he's playing from behind, and he's like, I'm going to crank up what I think works for me. But in essence, it was not working, and he didn't know how to tone it down when he should have.
And in all fairness to them, too, they both did have to deal with Elon Gold coming into this battle.
That's a callback, folks. That's why he's the best in the business.
No. I mean, that's not even me just being mean or cracking a joke, but that is a real thing. Like, that when you have a judge that kind of takes the energy out of the room or like takes the shift, because that's the thing is the battle's about these guys, not any of the judges. It doesn't matter who's on the dais. It's about these guys and the jokes that they are doing. So when you do have someone that is causing, not a ruckus, but distracting everybody, it does take away.
That's something that we've never really talked about on the show. And a lot of times it's because we get these clips from other cities and we don't see the context around the battles. What happened is the air conditioning out in the room. Is there a judge who's doing way too much time between the people? Did they book too many battles that night? Is there something that affects? Because we just see this and we assume that these guys have complete control over everything. We've both been in that room where you have two judges who won't shut the fuck up and it's going on all night and it's dragging the energy out of the crowd.
Yeah, or you have a judge who asks you, are you drunk? And you're like, no, I'm a year and a half in and I'm fucking nervous.
Yeah. So you definitely run into those things. That being said, all we can do on this show is really take the clip sort of devoid of context and judge it as it was. In my opinion, Kelsey had the better writing in this one. I think that Nate struggled a little bit with the likability. I think he needs to – this is a good one to watch the game film and be like, here's where I kind of lost him. Here's where maybe next time I play defense a little bit differently, to Moses' point. And I think that – I think this is a good learning experience for Nate. And for Kelsey, she's done a great job throughout the tournament. I would advise her to not come into the finals and have the exact same big pussy rebuttal ready. It's your pussy. There's so many different ways you can play with it and come up with different things. You don't have to, you don't have to use the same one every time.
Listen, there's tons of different ways you can play with your pussy.
That's what I'm saying. Right? Oh man, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, dude, I love when you come in and do this
Yeah, this
thing.
is good. This is fun.
I really appreciate the champ Frank Castillo
My
sitting
pleasure.
in.
Anytime.
Where can they find you, champ? Where can
Frank
they follow
Castillo on Instagram. I have another podcast called Peaked TV, and then we have another one called Masonic Smoker Podcast. We shoot it here. Thank you, Masonic Smoker. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. I'm on Instagram at the Pat Barker. Follow us at Roast Battle. More RBL stuff coming. We're gonna keep rolling with this thing, and 2023 is gonna be a big year. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Thanks to the champ. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week on RBL Weekly. Hey everybody, RBL Commissioner Pat Barker here to tell you guys about a very special year-end show we have coming up December 15th. We're calling this the Battle for LA. It's gonna be at a new venue we've never done before called Jam in the Van. Great venue, and we have a great concept show that's going to be awesome. You guys know about the Roast Battle. Well, we have other leagues popping up all over the place right out here in Los Angeles, and we challenged a couple of them to throw down as a year-end celebration of roasting, of the culture, of everything that we do here. We decided to bring Comic Wars and Know Your S Roast Battles, the latter hosted by Digits. Bring them all together. We're going to go do a big show at Jam in the Van. You can get tickets December 15th. You go to jaminthevan.com. We will also be streaming the show on our YouTube channel. Check out our social media for more details at Roast Battle. You can check out Jam in the Van on Instagram. It's an amazing venue. We're going to have an amazing show, and you should be there to check it out if you're in the LA area.